Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It's a beautiful start out there. Temperatures are on the cool side, but all the sunshine will help us to warm up to almost 80 degrees today. I'll show you when we'll have a chance for some cooler temperatures.
And this is the aftermath of a massive house fire in North Raleigh. Just ahead, what new information we've learned from fire officials in the last 10 minutes.
A 5-year-old and a 16-year-old shot in Durham in broad daylight. What we know about the investigation so far.
A lot to get you caught up on this Wednesday morning, March 13th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. It's a gorgeous day as we're waking up today. Again, the morning, it wasn't like cold like the other day, but it was a little more comfortable.
You need the jacket.
Yeah, you still need a light jacket in there. We've got meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner giving you a look right now over at Wilson. I don't see the whirligig spinning, though.
No, it's nice and calm out there right now. You can see wind sitting at 0, so no wind to deal with. It may be light as we get through the afternoon. We do have a nice warm air mass in place, and with that sunshine today, it will warm on up into the upper 70s. We were in the mid 70s yesterday. 43 officially in the Triangle right now. We do have some 30s near the Virginia line, 36 in Roxborough, 38 in South Hill, 43 in Rocky Mount, 40 degrees in Southern Pines. So mostly in the low to mid 40s right now. Our temperatures are running about 5 to 10 degrees warmer in most places than what we were seeing this time yesterday. And it'll be a lovely afternoon, near 70 at lunchtime. If you have the chance to spend your lunch hour outside, today would be a great day for that. And then upper 70s for highs this afternoon. We'll likely hit 80 for tomorrow. It'd be the first time we've seen it this year, and I'll show you how close that is to records coming up. Brett?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's take a look at traffic. A wide view of our map right now shows you a number of crashes that are out there, a lot of delays on our sensors, a lot of red right now here at 8:01 on your Wednesday morning. We're going to begin with a crash that is near Lake Wheeler Road. This is our live camera there that's showing a lot of backups there on the south side of Raleigh. The crash appears to have cleared at this point, but those delays are really starting to pick up and continue to linger there because that's a part of Raleigh that really does see a lot of traffic, especially this time of morning. 440 at Newbern Avenue, we're continuing to monitor this one. This is an earlier crash that actually blocked all 3 lanes of traffic at one point. We're down to just 1 lane of traffic blocked there, and I see a tow truck that is just starting to get there at the scene. So we're going to continue to monitor that one, let you know when that last lane opens back up because it is causing some big backups that stretch all the way past the I-87 interchange. About 20 extra minutes right there if you have to use the belt line. Over off of 540 near Six Forks Road, this is an earlier crash that happened several hours ago with a tractor trailer involved there after it hit a guardrail. DOT expected to open the on-ramp there at Six Forks Road right about now, but they are now saying it's going to be closer to 10 a.m. I'll continue to keep an eye on that one as well.
All right, thanks, Brett. Following some breaking news, crews responded to a massive house fire in North Raleigh. This happening on Carnes Place. That's not very far from Falls of Neuse and Wake Forest. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from that scene. And Kelsey, crews were able to put most of that fire out this morning.
Michelle, new information from Raleigh Fire.
It looks like we're having some trouble with her mic, but she spoke to a homeowner and she says that everybody is okay. Crews are just containing any hot spots that may appear at this point. But look at this video here. This is what they were dealing with this morning around 3:30. She spoke with the fire chief and he says a fire broke out at 2 homes. One home had a fire through the roof. The other had a smaller fire on the side of the house. Kelsey is on scene. She says there's about a dozen fire trucks there. The chief says they will be there for at least the next couple of hours, and the cause is under investigation.
I actually took the video that you saw just there, and I'll tell you, I was across the street when that happened, and you could actually feel the flames. Wow. A person was killed after a car crash in Cumberland County. That's the video you're seeing here. It happened just after 11 o'clock last night near Camden Road, just outside Fayetteville. State Highway Patrol says that the driver of a Dodge Charger hit a Kia, causing it to flip onto its roof that you see right there on your screen. The driver of the Kia was killed, and troopers say the driver of the Charger was impaired and speed was a factor here. WRAL is working to learn what charges will be filed in this case.
This morning, the person who shot a teen and a 5-year-old in Durham is still on the run. This happened just before 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon on Dearborn Drive. Police spent hours on that scene investigating, and WRAL's Monica Casey has been on top of the story. She joins us live from the Durham Police Department. And Monica, this story has many people on edge in that community.
Durham police data from last Saturday shows that 3 people under the age of 18 had been shot so far this year. With yesterday's shooting, we now know at least 5 people under the age of 18 have been shot in Durham in 2024. That shooting happened at the Oxford Manor community. That's a Durham Housing Authority property just north of downtown. The 5-year-old girl and 16-year-old boy had non-life-threatening injuries. People who live there tell us violence often happens in that neighborhood.
Man, it's often, man. It's every day. Every day. I seen this in the mat, this right here. Everywhere. It's everywhere, man. You know what I'm saying? But not a little kid, though.
Investigators were on scene for hours yesterday afternoon, marking multiple shell casings up and down Dearborn Drive. Police say the bullets came from a passing vehicle, meaning this is being investigated as a drive-by shooting. As of now, no arrests have been made. In Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Kids are suffering because of guns in North Carolina, as you just heard from Monica's report. Our new WRAL documentary looks into why. WRAL investigative documentary reporter Kristen Severance produced and hosts the documentary. It's called Unsafe North Carolina Kids Dying from Gun Violence. You can watch that documentary tonight at 7:30 on WRAL or at WRALdoc.com.
This morning, Cary police are searching for 2 men who robbed a man at gunpoint and stole his truck. Police say a man was attacked while he was sitting in his truck and then dragged out, and his truck was stolen. Officers say it happened at an apartment community in Cary on Green Landing Drive. Around 11 o'clock last night, police found the abandoned truck on West Phelan Drive in Cary. The man who was robbed is expected to be okay.
Police say they arrested a man and woman who broke into an apartment and later led police on a high-speed chase. That apartment is on Hillgrove Lane in Garner. The chase happened on White Oak Road. Authorities say the suspect sped away at more than 100 miles per hour during the chase. It ended when the 2 people jumped from the vehicle and ran away onto I-40 near the South Saunders Street exit in Raleigh. Police say that someone was assaulted during that break-in. They also say the victims and the suspect all know each other. WRAL is working to learn what charges will be filed.
The woman suspected of animal cruelty after more than 200 dogs were rescued from a puppy mill in Chatham County is expected in court today. Alicia Culberson faces 10 counts of animal cruelty. 214 dogs were rescued from deplorable conditions at a property in Bear Creek. Some of the dogs were already dead when investigators got to that scene. Deputies also found animals suffering from starvation, dehydration, malnutrition, and other health concerns. We reported that some of the dogs are in care of the Chatham County Sheriff's Office. 85 others are ready for adoption from a rescue in Nashville, Tennessee.
Starting today, you can renew your driver's license and do other DMV business at the grocery store. New self-serve DMV kiosks will be available at 3 Harris Teeter stores in the state. That includes 1 on Briar Creek in Raleigh and Highland Center on Rayford Road in Fayetteville. The video you're looking at is of similar kiosks already in place in California. Now, at these kiosks, you'll be able to renew your license or your state ID and print a temporary ID certificate. You'll even be able to register to vote. How about that? More kiosks could be coming at other locations across the state.
We're getting an idea of how online sports betting is taking off in North Carolina after becoming legal on Monday. BetMGM shared some information about the bets they saw on the first day. And March Madness is on a lot of people's minds, and it shows. BetMGM says UNC was the most popular choice to win the NCAA tournament, making up nearly 48% of the bets. Only 4% of the bets were for Duke winning the tournament.
Just ahead on WRAL News at 8 o'clock, the reason a U.S. judge dismissed the defamation lawsuit against Meghan Markle, with her sister being the one who brought the case forward.
And more teenagers are gearing up to throw down on the mat, the newest, fastest growing sport that's making history and pushing barriers for girls.
It was such a beautiful day yesterday. We'll see more of the same today with just a few high, thin clouds, and then 80s on Thursday and Friday. Friday late in the day, we may have a few scattered showers and storms. I'll walk you through the timeline.
Welcome back. You are looking live at a beautiful North Hills. You're watching WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Well, if you liked yesterday, you're going to like today even better. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner standing by with a look around town. It's going to feel beautiful out there.
And I'm going to tell you, you should get outside and enjoy it while you can, because next week our temperatures are going to be colder. Looks like we can see highs back in the 50s again. So get outside, soak it in. We have a little bit of high thin cloud cover out there in a few places, but look at this. Apex is completely blue at this point, and so is Chapel Hill. Of course, it should be, right? Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant and Fayetteville right there, is our newsroom on Hay Street. So we're watching the system developing. It's just starting to see a little bit of development back here. This is the system that'll roll through here on Friday. It's not likely to bring a lot of moisture with it. It's going to be a fairly weak system coming on through. We've been tracking it for the last several days. So it looks like we could see a few isolated showers, maybe a stray thunderstorm late afternoon into the evening on Friday. This is going to be our next best chance for rain. But we are trending drier, not just with Friday's system, but with Sunday's also. We take a look at Friday. We're going to start off Friday with a good bit of sunshine. We'll see some increasing cloud cover in the afternoon, but really we're looking at partly cloudy skies until the early part of the afternoon. At 5 o'clock, you can see this band of rain that comes through. It's not going to be with us long. It'll be scattered, probably not going to cover the entire viewing area, but just that potential for some light rain, probably going to be a quarter of an inch or less. And then Saturday is looking good. Behind it, we'll see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies on Saturday, a little cooler behind that front, and then Sunday's also looking drier. Take a look at Sunday. This is 6 a.m. on Sunday, and we'll roll it through to 9 a.m. A little bit of cloud cover on and off, maybe some increase in our cloud cover in the afternoon. But right now, it looks like the rain is going to stay to our south on Sunday. I kept the 30% chance in on Sunday because the models have been flip-flopping all week. It's going to rain Sunday. It's not going to rain. It's going to rain. It's not. So we'll see the consistency. As soon as it looks more consistent, we'll take that 30% off. But a 30% chance on Friday. It looks consistent that we would see just a quick line of some showers or isolated storms. Right now, severe weather doesn't look likely. Talk about severe weather, though. Some of you may remember this. It is the 31st anniversary of the storm of the century, which really affected folks in the Northeast more than here and the Triangle area. But it's one of those storms that was just iconic and people talk about, especially up into the mountains. Mount Mitchell at 50 inches, Asheville at 18 inches, Charlotte an inch and a half, Raleigh at about an inch. Our big snowstorm happened January 25th of 2000, where we saw over 20 inches of snow. But of course, this year we saw zero, not even a trace. For the first time in recorded history, we didn't even have a trace of snow. Look at that. Thursday and Friday are going to be feeling like summer with temperatures in the 80s. I'll show you how many days in the 80s we normally see in March coming up, Brett.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's take a look at traffic. Have a couple of new crashes to tell you about here at 8:15. First one that we're going to go over to is as you approach Durham, I-85 northbound near Cornwallis Road. Seeing a little bit of a backup stretching out towards the Hillsborough area, but nothing major, maybe a couple of extra minutes if you use 85. I-440 at New Bern Avenue. This is new just within the past couple of minutes. They have reopened that last lane there as you approach Brentwood Road. That earlier crash closed multiple lanes of traffic, and it really has caused a mess for the Beltline. So give yourself still about 15 to 20 extra minutes as they continue to ease through some of those delays, and now that crash has completely cleared. US 70 near NC 50, that is a new crash in the Garner area. I am seeing a little bit of red on the sensors as you approach, if you come from Garner to the Raleigh area. Nothing big, though. We'll continue to keep an eye on that one. For I-40 at Lake Wheeler Road, that is continues to be an area where we see some big traffic backups that really stretch over the south side of Raleigh, past South Saunders Street, all the way past Hammond Road. So give yourself plenty of extra time if you use this 40 westbound on the southern side of Raleigh right now.
All right, thanks, Brett. A decision about whether to disqualify District Attorney Fani Willis could come soon. She's the DA in Fulton County, Georgia, and former President Donald Trump's election subversion case there. Willis could be disqualified over a conflict of interest if the judge presiding over her case comes to that conclusion. This comes after she became romantically involved with the special prosecutor in Trump's case, Nathan Wade.
New this morning, dramatic video from Japan shows the country's first rocket built by a private company exploding shortly after liftoff. Take a look at this. The rocket, called Kairos, exploded seconds after launching, filling the sky with smoke and flames. A Tokyo startup company called Space One conducted the launch. There were no immediate reports of any injuries or significant damage on the ground. Space One has not commented on what may have caused that explosion. A
13-year-old boy from Gaza is getting surgery in South Carolina for a broken leg. Officials say he fractured his leg during an Israeli airstrike back in December. He was greeted with cheers and claps and waving of Palestinian flags at the Greenville-Spartanburg airport. He arrived with his brother. The Palestinian Children's Relief Fund is paying for the surgery. It's a U.S.-based organization providing medical aid to children without access to care.
New video this morning shows the last known whereabouts of a missing University of Missouri student in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville police released the video here that you see, captured by a surveillance camera from a smoke shop on Church Street. Police also have security video of Strain on another street, seemingly stumbling and having difficulty walking. Police say that Strain hasn't been seen since last Friday night when he was kicked out of a downtown Nashville bar. The employee who works at the shop where this video was taken is heartbroken that he did not do more to help him.
His mother was here. She asked me, she was crying. She asked me about him. If I seen him, I told her I seen him outside walking that way, but I didn't see him after that. I was crying. I was crying when I seen her. After she left, I was crying for her.
A Life 360 tracker on his phone pinged Strain's last known location at an intersection not far from that smoke shop. The search continues today, including along the bank of the nearby Cumberland River.
This morning, a new warning about the danger of artificial intelligence and that it may pose one. In a report commissioned by the State Department, experts warn AI poses a catastrophic security risk to the United States. That is, unless the federal government steps in to avert a disaster. The report says time is running out for the government to act. The findings were based on interviews with more than 200 people, including top executives from leading AI companies. Experts say there are positives with AI, but it could also become menacing and uncontrollable.
Meghan Markle has won a defamation lawsuit brought on by her half-sister. Samantha Markle originally filed a defamation suit against the Duchess of Sussex in 2022, claiming that she defamed her multiple times in interviews, including her sit-down with Oprah Winfrey. The original suit was dismissed, but Samantha filed again in 2023, seeking $75,000 in damages. On Tuesday, a judge determined Samantha failed to produce evidence to support her claims and dismissed the case. The judge also ruled that Samantha cannot file the claims again. Roku says hackers accessed more than 15,000 user accounts in a breach the company disclosed on Friday. In some cases, unauthorized individuals tried to purchase streaming subscriptions. The company said it has refunded customers who were impacted by unauthorized charges. Roku said hacked accounts were secured. Users were forced to reset their password.
There are more and more teenage girls gearing up to wrestle in high school. It is the fastest growing high school sport nationwide. Ted Linder takes a closer look at what is fueling the popularity.
Girls wrestling is the fastest growing high school sport in the country. As more and more teenage girls are throwing down on the mat and taking advantage of an opportunity primarily dominated by boys.
Making history and pushing through a barrier that a lot of girls are doing with me, so it's great that we all get to do it together and show people what girls wrestling really is.
According to data collected by the National Federation of State High School Associations, the number of girls wrestling teams across the country has quadrupled over the past decade. This comes as the number of girls wrestling in high school quintupled to more than 50,000 through last year.
Instead of feeling like, oh, if we start a girls team, we're gonna really be ahead of things, it suddenly went to, oh my gosh, if we don't form one soon, we're gonna be behind.
So far this year, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island have held their first state-sanctioned girls wrestling championships. Louisiana, meantime, has recently become the 45th state to sanction high school girls wrestling.
But now to see like an arena this big filled with people here to watch and support and wrestle, and all girls, it's really awesome.
The expansion of the sport is bringing new faces to the game. Exciting athletes who say wrestling is not only fun, but teaches them important lessons in determination.
I have to not only be able to be smart, physically active, you have to have the discipline to make weight and all that stuff.
Women's wrestling is still considered an emerging sport at the college level, but is expected to be designated a championship-level sport in 2026, according to the NCAA.
That was Ted Linder with that report. Girls wrestling was in North Carolina in 2022, and it was the first new sports since 2010.
Today, NC State looks to keep its season alive in the second round of the ACC tournament. They'll tip off with Syracuse at 7 o'clock tonight at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. NC State got their tournament off on the right foot on Tuesday. The Wolfpack heated up after a sluggish start and beat Louisville 94-85. Notre Dame and Boston College also advanced with wins yesterday. WRAL's Casey Hintz is in D.C. for that tournament, and she'll have an in-depth breakdown of NC State's game in the next half hour. Coming up for us at 8, fire crews are investigating a large fire in a Raleigh neighborhood. After the break, what we're learning about the quick response from firefighters.
And we are working to learn more about the investigation into the shooting that left 2 children injured. The community's reaction as police are still searching for a suspect.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We are in for a beautiful Wednesday. Temperatures warming up into the 70s. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a look around town.
Yeah, it's nice out there right now. Lots of sunshine, a little bit of high thin cloud earlier this morning, but as we're looking around at our cameras, it looks like that is dissipated. Blue sky here in Wilson, 43. Light winds, the whirligigs barely spinning this morning. Durham, sunny, 43, 46 right now in Fayetteville. So it's a cool start this morning, but we'll still warm up nicely, just like we did yesterday. Temperatures heading out the door, mainly in the low to mid 40s right now, but by lunchtime, 70 degrees. So if you have the chance to spend your lunch hour outside, it's going to be a good one. A high of 78. Dinner outside. Temperatures will still be in the low 70s. Brett?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's take a look at traffic. A couple of updates if you haven't left the house yet this morning. 8-minute delay coming in from the Knightdale area. It's likely more because of how big the delays are from an earlier crash. 11 minutes on US 1 southbound coming in from Wake Forest. Here is that live look at 440 at New Bern Avenue. Earlier crash. It has cleared. Still a lot of cars out there, still a lot of delays on that stretch of road. Brand new update though, 540 at Six Forks Road. That earlier crash involving a tractor trailer has just cleared. Michelle.
Thank you, Brett. Breaking news, fire crews are investigating a large house fire on Carn Place in Raleigh. Crews responded to the scene around 3 o'clock this morning. A family of 6 was able to escape. A home next door was also damaged. Officials have not said what started that fire. And starting today, new self-serve DMV kiosks will be available at 3 Harris Teeter stores in the state, including Raleigh and Fayetteville. You'll be able to renew your driver's license, register to vote, and more. The DMV hopes to launch more kiosks across the state soon. Next on Fox 50, Casey Hintz tells us how the NC State men's basketball team is gearing up for their next chance at the big dance.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Beautiful start this morning. Our temperatures are chilly though, in the 30s to low 40s. I'll show you when temperatures will climb into the 80s this week.
In breaking news this morning, flames were bursting through the roof of a home in North Raleigh. What we know about the fire and the damage it caused to another home.
And NC State will play again tonight in the ACC tournament after getting a win in the opening round. WRAL's Casey Hintz is in Washington with a look at the win over Louisville and what is next for that team. Very, very exciting. A lot of happy NC State fans today. We'll get to that coming up. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. Yeah, a lot of people are obviously looking forward to that. I'm pretty sure Duke and UNC is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So a lot of stuff that's happening this week with that tournament. But first, we got to get you started with your weather forecast with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
It's beautiful out there. We're going to take a live look at the WRAL gardens where we're starting to see things blooming. Now, it's usually April, typically the middle of April, when we see our acre of azaleas blooming, but there are already some things blooming, trees blooming. We've got a lot of bulbs, tulips out there that are blooming, so it's beautiful. It's going to be a nice day to pick something to do outside. And our gardens are open year-round from dawn till dusk. 43 degrees right now in the Triangle area, so it's a chilly start. Still mid to upper 30s in Roxborough and South Hills, 46 in Fayetteville. Fayetteville and 44 in Goldsboro. But temperatures are a little warmer than they were this time yesterday, averaging around 5 to almost 10 degrees warmer. We won't see that big of a jump in the afternoon. We hit 75 yesterday, and we'll hit 78 for the high this afternoon. It is a quick warm up this morning. After a chilly start, we climbed to around 70 at lunchtime. And if you're looking to get out after work, temperature at 7 o'clock is still going to be in the upper 60s with lots of sunshine. Tomorrow we could see a high of 80 degrees for the first time this year. I'll show you how close that is to a record coming up. Brett.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's take a look at traffic. It is 8:31. I'm Brett Neeson for Brian Schrader this morning. And a couple of updates to a number of crashes that are out there. A lot of them are clearing at this point, which is really good news, including the one that was near New Bern Avenue. It had blocked 3 lanes at one point, but you can still see plenty of traffic as you pass Brentwood Road and approach Capitol Boulevard. That's typical for this time of morning, and then that earlier crash on top of that is causing some pretty big backups. I'd give yourself 10, 15 extra minutes if you use that part of the Beltline. 40 at Lake Wheeler Road, an earlier crash is really causing some delays that have continued to linger on the southern side of Raleigh. We're still seeing some backups that, again, probably about 15, 20 minutes on that southern side of Raleigh if you're using I-40 westbound trying to get over to US 1 on the southwest side of Raleigh at this point. But we're going to continue to monitor that. Taking a wider look around Raleigh, not seeing any other big delays coming in from the Johnston County area, which is good news. And there is an earlier crash on US 70 in Garner that is in its clearing stages at this point.
All right, thank you, Brett. WRAL is following a story that broke overnight. Crews responding to a massive house fire in North Raleigh. It happened on Carnes Place, not too far from Falls of Neuse in Wake Forest. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey has been on that scene this morning. She actually talked to a homeowner who says that everyone is okay. Fire crews are trying to basically stay out there to make sure there are any other hot spots that might appear. But I want to show you the video of the flames that were engulfing that house at 3:30 this morning. I actually took that video on my way to work. You could feel the flames on the other side of the street. Fire officials say the fire broke out at 2 homes, and one home had a fire through the roof. The other home had a smaller fire on the side of the house. There are about 2 fire trucks still on the scene right now at last check, according to Kelsey. A fire official says that they'll be there at least for the next couple of hours, again, making sure there are no hot spots. We're still looking into what caused that fire.
And more breaking news. A person is dead after a car crash in Cumberland County. This happened just after 11 o'clock near the intersection of Camden Road and Natal Drive, just outside Fayetteville. State Highway Patrol says the driver of a yellow Dodge Charger hit a Kia, causing it to flip onto its roof. The driver of the Kia was killed. Troopers say the driver of the Charger was impaired and speed was a factor. We are waiting to learn what charges that driver may face.
This morning, police are trying to track down the person who shot a teenager and a 5-year-old in Durham. This happened yesterday afternoon on Dearborn Drive. And as WRAL's Monica Casey tells us, this has left that community on edge.
Durham police data from last Saturday shows that 3 people under the age of 18 had been shot so far this year. With yesterday's shooting, we now know at least 5 people under the age of 18 have been shot in Durham in 2024. That shooting happened at the Oxford Manor community. That's a Durham Housing Authority property just north of downtown. The 5-year-old girl and 16-year-old boy had non-life-threatening injuries. People who live there tell us violence often happens in that neighborhood.
It's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? It is, man. You know what I'm saying? How Bradtown is. I thought Bradtown was good, you know what I'm saying? Because I just came out here about a month ago, you know what I'm saying? And I seen this right here. It's, you know, same.
Investigators were on scene for hours yesterday afternoon, marking multiple shell casings up and down Dearborn Drive. Police say the bullets came from a passing vehicle, meaning this is being investigated as a drive-by shooting. As of now, no arrests have been made. In Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
This morning, Cary police are searching for 2 men who robbed a man at gunpoint and stole his truck. Police say a man was attacked while he was sitting in his truck, then dragged out and his truck was stolen. Officers say it happened at an apartment community in Cary on Green Landing Drive. Around 11 o'clock last night, police found the abandoned truck on West Phelan Drive in Cary. The man who was robbed is expected to be okay. And a man and woman are in custody after police say they broke into an apartment and then led police on a high-speed chase. The apartment is on Hillgrove Lane in Garner. The chase later started on White Oak Road. The suspects sped over 100 miles per hour during that chase. And that chase ended when the two jumped out of the vehicle and ran away on I-40 near the South Saunders Street exit in Raleigh. Police say someone was assaulted during that break-in. They say the victims and suspects all know each other. We are working to learn the identities of the two people involved and the charges they may face.
New this morning, it is official. The Biden-Trump rematch is set for November's general election. Former President Donald Trump secured the Republican nomination for president after the results of yesterday's primaries. President Joe Biden secured the Democratic nomination. Trump received enough delegates to seal the nomination without ever stepping onto a debate stage. After getting the nomination, he said, quote, "Now we have to get back to work because we have the worst president in the history of the country," end quote. President Biden released a statement yesterday expressing gratitude to have people support him when, quote, "The threat Trump poses is greater than ever," end quote. In a few hours, House GOP leaders will vote on a bill that could ban TikTok here in the U.S. It could also change the app's ownership from the company ByteDance. That vote is expected around 10 o'clock this morning, so about an hour and a half from now. Lawmakers and TikTok creators gathered on Capitol Hill yesterday to oppose the proposed ban. Many argue that bill is just unfair and could hurt nearly 5 million businesses that rely on the platform. If the bill passes the House, it will move to the Senate, where its fate could be in jeopardy. The Wall Street Journal reports that Bobby Kotick, the former CEO of the video game company Activision Blizzard, is interested in buying TikTok.
For NC State to make the big dance, they'll have to win 5 games in 5 days. And they now have one of those wins down after beating Louisville to start the ACC tournament last night. Casey Hintz has more from Washington.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Casey Hintz inside Capital One Arena, where last night NC State kept its season alive, taking down Louisville 94-85. Now, they knew coming into this one they were shorthanded without DJ Horn, who's still dealing with that hip flexor injury. So they knew being shorthanded, they were going to need everyone. And last night, they got everyone.
But everybody's got to step up. When you lose a guy who can score the basketball the way he does, I would have never guessed that we would score 94 points without DJ Horn, but we did. I thought everybody was aggressive. You know, Casey Morcell had a little bit to do with it. But, you know, without him, we have to have a little bit more player and ball movement. We're running more plays. He's really the guy that can kind of create for himself. But with everybody else, we're trying to get everybody involved.
Another winner-go-home game tonight for NC State. They'll take on Syracuse, a team they met twice in the regular season. They lost both of those, so the fellows hungry for a get-back game. That'll be a 7 p.m. tip here, and I will have highlights and reaction coming up for you later tonight on WRAL. But for now, Casey Hintz, WRAL Sports, Washington, D.C.
And Casey will have a live report from Washington, D.C. this evening with post-game press conferences and locker room reaction. WRAL is your home for college basketball coverage in March.
One lucky person in North Carolina is waking up a millionaire this morning. I am here right now, so you know it was not me. Someone matched all 5 white balls in last night's Mega Millions drawing, but missed the Mega Ball. The jackpot is rising once again because no one hit all the winning numbers last night. So here are the numbers. 2, 16, 31, 57, 64, 24, and the Megaplier is 3. The jackpot for Friday night's drawing is now $792 million. And the Powerball jackpot, that is also impressive with $559 million on the line. That is a cash value of more than $273 million. And you can watch tonight's drawing at 11 o'clock right here on WRAL.
Christina Applegate is getting vulnerable about her diagnosis. Coming up, how she's teaming up with actress Jamie Lynn Sigler to help inspire others who have multiple sclerosis.
Plus, Beyonce is going country, but you kind of already knew that. At least a lot of you in the Beehive did. Ahead, the name of her new album that has the Beehive grabbing their cowboy boots.
And as we head to break, here's a live look over in Sanford. Beautiful blue skies. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Elizabeth Gardner will have more after the break.
Boy, it would be a beautiful day to hit the beach, right? Well, I gotta work, so I gotta stay here. But we have a live camera of Carolina Beach, so you can see what it looks like on this gorgeous day that we are experiencing here. We've got meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner here right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. And, you know, in terms of the weather, yes, it would be nice to be at the beach, but we have some good temperatures here too.
We do. And, you know, it's time to start thinking about, dreaming about a beach vacation for sure. But what I'll tell you about the beach, so it'll make you feel better because we're all here, you know, having to go to work. This time of year, the water temperature is still really chilly. So if you're sitting on the beach, you have the air coming off of that cold water, and it does feel a little chilly sitting on the beach as compared to if you happen to be about a mile inland where it's warmer. Speaking of warmer, Warrenton looking beautiful this morning. Just a little bit of high, thin cloud cover out there, but that beautiful blue sky. Right now we're seeing a temperature of 43 degrees in the Triangle area, and up in South Hill it's 42, 43 in Rocky Mounts, 36 in Roxborough. That's typically our cold spot. Our warm spot's usually Fayetteville and Clinton. Temperatures there in the mid 40s, so it's definitely still chilly as you step out the door, running about 5 to 8 degrees warmer than it was this time yesterday. The afternoon high will be about 3 or 4 degrees warmer than yesterday. 78 in Raleigh, 77 Durham, 79 in Fayetteville. I mean, just almost perfect. No humidity, not a lot of bugs out there. Our pollen count continues to be fairly low, and we just have these warm temperatures that are fantastic. Again, 78 for today, 81 tomorrow. If we hit 81 tomorrow, it'll be the first 80-degree day of this year, but it still doesn't look like a record. Record high 86 set back in 1990, and on Friday 80, but the record is 87 set back in 1973. We averaged 2 80-degree days in March. We're going to check the box on that right now for tomorrow and Friday. But looking ahead, we definitely have some cooler temperatures in our forecast for next week. And I took a look at the trends beyond that. It looks like we might stay on the cool side. So these could be our only 2 80-degree days of March. It should be really nice for the St. Patrick's Day parade on Saturday. We're going to keep it warm through the weekend. 10 a.m. parade start time, 64 degrees, partly cloudy, mild, maybe a little bit breezy. And Jeff Hogan is the Grand Marshal of the parade. So head on out there and give him a wave as he goes by. We take a look at our warm temperatures. The red and yellow colors are where temperatures are above normal. Blue is below normal. So you can see these warm temperatures stick with us all the way until Monday. And then we see some colder air sweeping through. I'll show you what that's going to look like on the 7-day forecast. But quickly, right now, our pollen counts are low for trees and grasses and may not jump a whole lot. Probably going to be moderate for Thursday and Friday. But then with cooler temperatures and a chance of some showers on Friday, those pollen counts may drop off a little bit. We do have the chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm on Friday. Saturday looks nice and dry. Sunday is trending drier as well. There's a good chance that we won't see much rain on Sunday. And then by Tuesday, look at that, a high of 56 degrees. It's kind of hard to go from 80s to 50s, don't you think?
Yes, it is, Elizabeth. All right, well, St. Patrick's Day is this weekend, and there are some great family-friendly events happening to help you celebrate. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan is here. Kathy, let's start with the big parade in downtown Raleigh on Saturday. We have a familiar face that's going to be there.
We do. Elizabeth just mentioned it. Okay, Jeff Hogan is going to be the Grand Marshal of the Raleigh St. Patrick's Day Parade on Saturday. It's going to kick off at 10 a.m. on Fayetteville Street. A reminder, this year's parade will not have any motorized vehicles, so just walking groups. It's going to be so much fun.
And there are a couple scavenger hunts as well. That's fun for the whole family.
I love a good scavenger hunt. Okay, so the Shamrock Search Scavenger Hunt is on Saturday in Moore Square in downtown Raleigh from 1 to 2:30. Teams are going to be looking for hidden green shamrocks in downtown Raleigh. Okay, the first to find them is going to win a basket full of items from local businesses. Tickets are $25 per person for those 14 years and older, and if you're 10 to 13 years of age, it's $10. So it's a little bit cheaper if you've got those middle kids. And on Friday and Saturday, we've got St. Patrick's Day treasure hunts. Okay, Raleigh and Durham, 2 big events. Okay, St. Patrick's Day themed clues, puzzles. Teams are going to be unlocking a treasure chest for a grand prize. And this is also good for kids of all ages. Okay, tickets are $20 for adults, $12 for those ages 10 to 17. So they've really got the price points for all different ages.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm so intrigued right now. This is not St. Patrick's Day related, but there's an underwater egg hunt in Durham this weekend. What is this? I had to include
this. Okay. The Spring Egg Dive is happening at the Campus Hills Pool in Durham on Saturday. People will be diving and swimming for eggs to win prizes. Now, all swim levels are welcome. They're going to have life vests for people. An adult will need to be in the water with children ages 9 years and younger. Registration is limited, so do that early. It's $6 for Durham residents and $11 for non-residents.
Lots to do this weekend. For a full list of more events coming up this month, just go to WRAL.com and search keyword out and about. Thanks, Kathy.
Today, we're going to learn how the state is dealing with respiratory illnesses. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services will release new data on COVID, flu, and RSV cases in the state. Last week marked the 6th straight week of declines in these cases. As of last week, the state has seen 281 flu-related deaths this season. It increased by 15 from the week before. Smartwatches could be instrumental in reducing the spread of respiratory illnesses. Duke is studying whether a watch can know if you're sick before you even know. Duke researchers have reached out to more than 350,000 Duke Health patients who were tested for either COVID, flu, or RSV between 2018 and last year. Scientists are analyzing the data recorded by the participants' smartwatches during the time they were infected. The data includes things like heart rate, movement, sleep, temperature, and oxygen levels. Researchers say they think the study in total could take about 2 years to complete.
A cyber attack is causing prescription delays across the country. Change Healthcare said its system has been hacked. This has caused huge delays as pharmacists try to process prescriptions. In some cases, patients had to pay out of pocket for their prescriptions. People expressed frustration about the impact of this cyber attack.
It's terrible, especially when you think about our seniors. You know, I'm kind of healthy, but when our seniors can't get the medicine that they need because of a scam.
People shouldn't be able to do things like this.
The impact of the cyber attack is having a trickle-down impact. Cape Fear Valley Pharmacies announced last night that their pharmacies resume insurance billing. The process was paused shortly during the cyber attack.
The Carolina Panthers have made another trade. This time, they sent cornerback Dante Jackson to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, in exchange, they're going to get wide receiver Deontay Johnson. They also exchanged a 6th-round pick for a 7th-round pick. Jackson was a 2nd-round pick in 2018. He started 16 games for the Panthers last season.
The PGA Tour's Players' Championships will be live on WRAL this weekend. You can watch golf's best play Saturday at 2 and Sunday at 1. And this morning on Today, NBC's Mike Tirico and pro golfer Justin Thomas are live from the TPC Sawgrass course in Florida. Today airs at 7 on WRAL.
Oppenheimer is headed back to theaters. A Scream star returns to the franchise, and a new documentary on Frida Kahlo begins streaming this week. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
The world will remember this day.
If it's 7 Oscar wins have you itching to see Oppenheimer on the big screen again, or for the first time, you're in luck. Universal is re-releasing the Best Picture winner in theaters this weekend. The epic drama has made $958 million worldwide so far. We'll see whether the re-release pushes it past the billion mark.
This is a great roller coaster ride.
The latest twist in the Scream franchise is the return of Neve Campbell. The star of the first 5 Scream movies sat out Scream 6 over a salary dispute. Now Campbell has posted on Instagram she's returning as Sidney Prescott for Scream 7, and franchise creator Kevin Williamson will direct the latest installment.
Me pinto a mí misma porque soy lo que mejor conozco.
The new Frida Kahlo documentary, Frida, presents the iconic artist in her own words from her diary, letters, essays, and interviews, accompanied by archive footage and animation inspired by her unique artwork. Frida begins streaming Thursday on Prime Video. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Actors Christina Applegate and Jamie Lynn Sigler are getting vulnerable about a disease they share while hoping to help others in the process. The pair is launching a podcast titled Messy. It's about living with multiple sclerosis. Applegate was diagnosed with MS in August of 2021. Sigler, who starred on The Sopranos, has lived with MS for 20 years. The two people told People magazine that the disease brought them together, and they decided to launch the podcast after realizing how their conversations were helping each other. Messy will debut on March 19th.
Beyonce is revealing the name of her new album. It's called Cowboy Carter. She shared this photo on her social media account, giving fans the chance to pre-order it and buy merchandise. This comes just over a month after she released 2 singles, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages, during the Super Bowl. The album is expected to be released March 29th. And before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic next.